Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Around the Leagues with Brady B. I am your host, Brady Bauer, and welcome into another episode. I had a lot of fun last week recording the episode just because, I get to talk about what I love most, college football for the most part, and there was a lot to talk about, and a lot of that hasn't cooled down. There's still a bunch of rumors. None of the positions that I mentioned last week were even filled yet. So there's still a lot of moves to be made in college football. That's going to affect not only the conferences, but also the players and where they're going to go, if they're going to stay at the school they're currently at, even though their coaches left, or if they're going to enter the transfer portal and try to find a new career path for them to take. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in to last week's episode. As of right now on Monday, the 10th at 12:33 p.m., the episode is not uploaded yet, but I am working on getting that uploaded, so just stay tuned and it will be up there as soon as possible. For today's episode, I mentioned it last week, but I'm going to stay with the college football just for the open, because I was at the Notre Dame and Navy game this past weekend. It was, anytime you go to Notre Dame, you just feel like you're in a different place, because every second on the PA system they mention you're at college football's cathedral, and it's not wrong. You literally are. From the moment you drive in, you see the Golden Dome, which is, I believe, where they have the church and stuff like that. You see Touchdown Jesus when you get close to the field. You're in one of the best Catholic institutions in the world, so you really feel all of that when you're there. And I certainly did, and it makes it even better when you're there with all your family members. Because my cousin, she's a news reporter in South Bend, so this might be her last year working there until she moves to a bigger network, or wherever, bigger until she moves to a bigger location practically. It was me, my mom, my brother, my dad, my sister, my cousin, my uncle, my aunt, and my uncle's best friend, and my sister's boyfriend, and it was a great group of people, and we always when that group always goes together, it was a great time, and Notre Dame got the win as well, so that made it even better. But we start the day, I have a dog, so we had to get her taken care of. We brought her to my sister's boyfriend's house where his sister was watching her. And I was saying, it's like, when you're talking about someone, you're like, oh, my cousin's friend's sister's dog knows that person, something like that. But I thought it was funny because, like, if someone were to ask me, oh, where's your dog staying when you're at the Notre Dame game, I would be like, my sister's boyfriend's house, which I just think is, like one of those little funny scenarios. But yeah, we were at the Notre Dame game. We brought my dog to where she was going to be staying for the night, and we hit the road, of course, before everybody left, I had to stop and get my McDonald's breakfast. The go-to is going to be the bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with the hash brown, and depending on how I'm feeling that day, I'll either go for the orange juice or the Coke. This time I went with the Coke because, I needed to get the energy in me because it was going to be a long day driving and then tailgating and then watching the game. So I got my Coke in me. I had the energy going, and then we were on the road. It was not even a bad drive at all. I went there last year too. It felt way longer last year driving there, but about like 2 hours in, we stopped at like a gas station, to fuel up, and and then next thing you know, my dad gets back in the car and he's like, oh yeah, someone in there said 15 minutes away. But I was still stuck on the Chicago time because, the time change and all that really, really messes me up. It doesn't make any sense to me. So the time change happened, and then we were 5 minutes away from the stadium, I guess. So boom, we got to our tailgate spot. We unloaded the car, got all the snacks out. My uncle's friend, he drove with us, and he brought a whole garbage bag full of snacks. Kind of looked a little white trashy at first when he brought it out, but it had all the snacks in there. He had Pringles, he had those green tortilla chips that Oh my God, they're so good. Then he had some brownies that was the hit of the show. Everything you can imagine we had at the tailgate, and we also had these sub sandwiches for like a little appetizer until my cousins and uncles and aunt got there with the rest of the grub, which was Hooters. We love Hooters. We're a big Hooters family. If you don't know, there's this thing at Hooters called Lots of Tots. Oh my God, it's tater tots, sour cream, cheese, and bacon sprinkled on top of it. It's to die for. I'm not even a big tater tots fan. Like tater tots on the tier of potatoes, they're way down the list for me. But the Lots of Tots they get the stamp of approval. But the Lots of Tots, that's more of like a, inside on your couch type of food. You don't really want to bring that into the tailgate environment. Too much could go wrong. You can get some flies flying by it. You can get some cold food. You don't want to eat cold potatoes and cold sour cream. That's just straight up nasty. So we took the audible, and my aunt brought buffalo shrimp. Oh, I love shrimp. Me and shrimp go way back. I could eat that all freaking day long. I have done it before, just eating straight shrimp. But yeah, so we had all the food was arriving, and then later on in the tailgate, when it started getting colder, my aunt also brought some hot chocolate, some Bailey's mix, which is, I think, some type of formal liquor and it had chocolate in it. So like you pour that in that with the hot chocolate, and it was a Dunkin' hot chocolate. I forgot how good that hot chocolate was. It was literally amazing. It brought me back to when I was young, whenever we would have any little event that was outside or an outdoor section to any event, you would have the hot chocolate. And oh my God, it was so good. I couldn't tell if it was, the Miller Lite that was getting me or the hot chocolate with the Baileys in it, but it was a great little treat, and it hit the spot because when the sun started going down, which was practically like an hour after we got there, because we arrived at like 3:30, sun comes down, and then it got so cold, and it was we were expecting the coldness, but it just started like snowing too. Like as we were walking to the shuttles to get to the actual stadium from the tailgate spot, me and my brother looked up and we just saw like snow, rain, flurries just flying down at us. And we're like, is anyone else seeing this right now? Like, we can't be the only ones who see this going on right now. Like, everyone else has to see this too. And sure enough, we asked, and they're like, yep. And then we get on the shuttle. It was a quick little drive to the stadium, like 5 minutes. And then we get there. We all are. It was kind of chaotic getting there. We got lost from the group a couple times, and we had to regroup up and then walk into the stadium. And we had to scan all 12 of the tickets, and then boom, we were on our way. We made our way up to our sections, which was 118, right behind the red zone. And boom, of course, there we had a great view of the game, and it was a good game to go to because Notre Dame is on their quest for the playoffs again. So any game that you can go to is also automatically going to be a little notch under your belt, because let's say Notre Dame does win the national championship this year. I could say, oh, I was at a game the year that they won it, and this was the game I was at. I was at Navy versus Notre Dame on November 8th, and a battle of the independents. None of them are in a conference, so may the best independent win. And Notre Dame, a little shaky start, 7-0 in the first quarter, and then Navy came back and scored a touchdown, so then it was 7-7, and then Notre Dame scored 14-7. Navy got a field goal, and then after that they didn't. From the second quarter, midway through the second quarter on, Navy didn't even sniff the end zone at all. They couldn't even complete passes because, the military schools, they run the ball. That's their bread and butter. But the quarterback honestly wasn't even that bad. The passes that he did make, his name is Braxton Woodson. The passes that he did make weren't that bad. He had a couple nice throws to the sidelines where his players just dropped it, to be honest. But they were good balls. He finished the game 3 of 8 for 22 yards. He had also had 23 carries. And the next person with the carries was, I think that's the backup quarterback, who also had 7 carries. So They run a lot of options, read options, power options, veer options, every form of option you could think of, Navy runs. That's key. That's what a bunch of the military schools do. But Notre Dame, they're too athletic, too big, too just freaking fierce to just let a team run that style of offense and win. So Notre Dame did what they did best. They ran the freaking ball. Jeremiah Love, oh my God, what else can be said about that guy? We saw at the end of last season and into the college football playoff. He's just a one man wrecking crew in the backfield. If you need the whole defense to be back there to try to stop him, because if you don't, he's gonna break through and it's not gonna be a pretty sight for your defense. So he had 13 rushes, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also had 27 receiving yards to go around along with that, which came on the first play of the game, first offensive play of the game. So they're like, let's get that out of the way for all the people that bet him, which was my dad. He bet the over receiving yards, cashed it, first play of the game. Jeremiah had 13 rushes, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nias Williams had 5 rushes for 72 yards and a touchdown, the one coming on his long run at the end of the game in garbage time. But he's a third string running back, so that's still great for him. And when Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love go to the NFL next year, it's going to be Aeneas Williams' backfield. It's going to be him and him by himself, and he shows that he can be the next great Notre Dame running back. Jadarian Price only had 10 carries for 47 yards, still at the average of 4.7 yards a carry. You'll take that every freaking time. And then, Jabron Payne got in the game at the end, 6 carries for 26 yards, a 4.3 average. That's your four-string running back. That's good numbers, but you're also in garbage time, facing a less than even matchup, to say the least. So Notre Dame came out on top 49-10. And the game itself, first off, it was a snowstorm. It was already snowstorming out, so it was the whole stadium was the freaking snow globe everywhere you looked. And at first, I didn't feel anything. It wasn't just a beer talking. I was layered up. If I'm going anywhere cold, I'm gonna have so many layers on. Anywhere I go, I'm gonna be layered up. Literally, I don't care what it takes. I'm gonna have 5 pairs of pants on, 4 sweatshirts, and my big North Face, and that's what I did. And 3 pairs of socks, and not just those little small socks. I'm talking the big, thick, soft. I'm talking the big, thick socks that wrap around your foot. But yeah, I was nice and toasty. The wind was swirling, but I could not feel it. Like I said, I was vibing, watching my favorite team on the field. Yeah, it was a snowstorm to say the least. But my aunt came clutch. She had like 20 ponchos on her, and she was passing them around. So everyone had ponchos. We were all ponchoed up. We were watching the game, and I didn't really start feeling it until the fourth quarter when my gloves were just completely soaked. I couldn't move them at all. They were insanely messed up, and I got them a day before, and there was already a hole in them. I don't know if I got the wrong size or what, but my gloves were cooked. They were done. So I had to go hands on the side of my pants the whole time. It was dreadful. So then the fourth quarter hit. We watched a couple minutes of the fourth quarter. Because my cousins and my sister did a crazy move. They're like, all right, guys, we're going to leave at the start of the fourth quarter. All right, cool. I would have liked to stay for the game if it was a little nicer out, but we were literally in a snowstorm, so I didn't mind leaving early. But yeah, they were like, okay, fourth quarter, we're going to go. They come, and right as the fourth quarter starting, they're going to get more drinks. I don't blame them. If you're feeling the buzz going, you got to keep it going. So they went and got their booze. And then we were like, okay, they're taking a long time. Let's just head down. So we're like, all right, we're going to go down to the concourse and start getting our group together to head back. And we're coming back. My sister comes, oh, we're looking for you. Yeah, right. We're looking for you guys. Don't even say anything. And then we lost my uncle's friend for like 20 minutes. And that was a whole another thing. So we kind of separated again. My family started walking towards the car because we were going to take a shuttle. But, oh, my God, the shuttles... There was like 30 lines just randomly forming from outside of the stadium, and you're just like looking and you're like, where is this going to? My dad thought it was for church, but I'm like, no one's gonna be going to church in the soaking wet and cold clothes. I mean, it's gonna be warm in there, but you want to just hop in your car and get home. And that's what we wanted to do. So we were like, nah, we're not waiting for the shuttles. Who knows how long? People are probably still waiting there right now for the shuttles because it was chaotic. There was literally 50 lines forming. People, it's so many people. Look, the whole stadium was in this one spot waiting for these shuttles, and you can't even see the shuttles. You don't even know where these lines were going to. It just looks like a never-ending line. So you had to deal. You had to get through that, and then so once you're through that, then we're like, all right, we're not waiting. So we took like a 2-minute team break to talk about our options and decide where we're going. And we're like, all right, it's a 20-minute walk. We're doing that because if you think about it, waiting here is just going to only take longer. More people are going to try, people are going to try to cut. Who knows what the system is with these shuttles, if they have a good thing down or not. The game's over, so more cars are going to be pulling out of the tailgate spots if they're already in their cars. So that's going to be more traffic on the road for the shuttles to maneuver. So we're like, yeah, we're walking. And sure enough, we did that. And it was a fine decision. It's blistering cold, and I had this wet-ass blanket on my shoulder that my sister brought, and I just wanted to throw it out in the garbage, to be honest, get rid of it. But I had it on my shoulder the whole time. That was weighing me down. It was like an extra 30 pounds, an extra 30 pounds because it was so soaked. It's like waterlocked. So I had that on me, and then we got to a crossroad. We either could go left or we could go right, and it was a big factor. If we chose the wrong way, we'd probably be walking for another 30 minutes. So we chose left, and that was ultimately the right decision. We started getting back to like the tailgate spots, all the cars, and then we got to the one lot. And my brother was like, "This is it." I'm like, "This does not look like it." The porta potties, that's not where it was because the backdrop of the porta potties was more trees, and I was insistent on that. But then we see the car. It was like seeing island, like seeing the shore from when you're stranded in the ocean. That's how I felt. We saw the car. We all were like, "Oh my God," running towards it. And then we were still waiting for my cousins and my aunts and uncles. So, we made some room for us to get in without like throwing all their stuff on the ground because they still had to come and grab it from our car and head to their car. So we broke the news to them about, oh yeah, you don't want to wait in that shuttle line because who knows who's running that thing. It's the worst system going on in Indiana at the moment. So they started walking too. It didn't take long at all. I think walking is so underrated. You can get anywhere if you walk. You can walk from one side of the country to the other. But if you're a fast walker, it's not going to affect you. And everyone we were with were fast walkers. We all had one thing in our mind and getting into that warm car. So we had no one that was going to stop us because we all had that one thought in our mind, and we were not going to be stopped. So we conquered the walk back to the car. We get in. Everyone else grabs their stuff from our car, and they're heading back to their lot. And it's like, I was happy to head home, but it's also like when you leave vacation, you don't want to actually leave. You're leaving the nice weather. In this case, we were leaving my favorite football team stadium, and it just kind of brings like not like post traumatic, but like not postpartum either. But when you leave and then you just want to go back, like yeah, that's how I was feeling right then. But Notre Dame got the win, and we got 3 more games to finish the season. We got Pittsburgh this week at Pittsburgh. But a lot of people don't take into account that Pittsburgh plays at the Steelers Stadium, so they don't really got that same crazy fan base that a lot of on-campus schools have, like the SEC schools, the Big Ten schools. They don't really have that factor, especially because it's so much bigger an NFL stadium compared to a college stadium. So they're going to have to fill out more, and I don't think the stadium's really that close to their college, because at Notre Dame, you could literally walk from your college dorm to the stadium in like 5 minutes from wherever you are on campus. But with them, they probably don't have that access. So they have to go very far to get to the stadium to watch their team. And I hear Pittsburgh Stadium is very hard to travel to begin with, and it's a 3:30 game. It's not even a night game, so that plays a factor too, I feel like, because Notre Dame sometimes plays down to their competition in primetime. I think they still always come out with the wins against these lower tiered schools, but still I'd rather face Pittsburgh They're a good team. Not at night though, so less people will be watching. Damn, that makes it sound like Notre Dame isn't like clutch or scary, but they're a very good team. They don't care who you are; they'll be ready to face you. The only thing Notre Dame has that's a problem is the defense. I can't like talk up. Their defense is pretty bad. I was having terrible thoughts during the game when Navy was running it down us, but we bounced back and we came through and won the game. So we got Pittsburgh, then we got who's next after Pittsburgh? I think we have Stanford. I know Stanford's our last game of the season. So it goes we got Pittsburgh, Syracuse, and Stanford, the ACC schools. I think we'll be fine. Just get past Pitt, and we're gonna be going back to the playoffs. And nothing's better than the playoffs because once you're in, anything could happen. Players from other team could get hurt. Coaches could turn dingbats and start calling stupid plays. It's literally once you're in, anything could happen, and that's what Notre Dame just needs a chance to get in, and we'll all be good. It was a good week altogether for our Chicago sports team. I have Blackhawks fever. It's official. Blackhawks fever has taken me over. It's got me, guys. It's just fun. The Blackhawks are a young, fun team. And when you have young, fun teams, it means young, fun players. They're doing things that I've never really even seen on hockey. Because like I said in my first episode, I like the Blackhawks, but a lot of that is because of their Stanley Cup runs. Without that, I don't know how big of a fan I could how I could be, because it's hard to be a fan. The Bears, the Bulls are over them, and the Cubs are over them. So, I mean, it's hard to really get excited about them. But when they drafted Bedard, I was all in because everyone wanted him. He was the hot thing on the market, in the draft market, and we were able to snag him up. But it's great when your teams are winning and you have a good young future. The Blackhawks, since last Monday when I recorded, they had a game that night. They lost 3-1, but since then they've been on a nice tear. They've been on the road since October 30th. They've been in Winnipeg, Edmonton, Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, Detroit, and they're finally back home on Wednesday. So 7 or 8 games on the road. With this young of a team that's been not used to traveling that much, it's going to probably be a factor. But they started off a little sloppy on the road trip, losing 6-3 against Winnipeg, 3-2 against the Oilers. But that's in overtime against Connor McDavid. And the Oilers have been to the Stanley Cup Finals the past 2 years. So those are losses that you like to see. Young teams competing with great teams, great players, and barely losing in overtime, getting that point as well, which is always huge. Then we went to Seattle. I'm pretty sure Seattle was also a playoff team last year. They're one of the newer teams to the league, and they won 3-1. But since then, Wednesday we won 5-2, and these aren't just like Wednesday games aren't just like wins. 5-2. They're great games from start to finish. Connor Bedard is showing who he really is. He's been on an 8-game a point streak, which goes for goals and assists, which is outstanding. That means he's affecting the game in every single way he can, and he keeps doing what we are expecting him to do. Just be that young player that has the league on notice. So in the Vancouver game when they won 5-2, he had a goal and an assist. And then also Bertuzzi. I've been a Bertuzzi fan since I found out about him. Just look at the guy. He's missing a tooth. Gives Duncan Keith vibes / Andrew Shaw vibes. Just maniacs that are willing to do anything they can to help their team win. And they were calling him the human backboard the other day because Connor Bedard just kept making little cross ice little saucer passes to him. And he was capitalizing each time, just putting them in the back of the net. Like, if he's an Andrew Shaw guy, that's great, because then you're not going to have anyone messing with Bedard. You're going to have skill in the front of the net, and you're just going to have that hard-nosed mentality that you need on a team that wants to be a contender. And he had 3 goals that day, and then he had another goal the next day, so he's really coming into shape. And then Spencer Knight, the goalie that we traded for Seth Jones. Seth Jones was, oh my God, he was the most hated athlete in Chicago last year. I wasn't even watching the Blackhawks too deeply last year just because they were so bad, and it was just hard to get into them because it was just Bedard and then a bunch of old guys. But now We traded Seth Jones and got Spencer Knight, who's a young goalie. This dude had 46 saves against Vancouver. That's insane. 45 saves. That's insane. Dude was standing on his head, as they like to say in hockey terms, but he was literally going back and forth. Dude, Spencer Knight, we need a nickname for him. Like, if only his name was Nick, it could be like Nick at Night, but Spencer at Night doesn't really work that well. But we need to come up with a nickname because KNIGHT, anything could go. He's like a knight in shiny armor type vibe. Anything for the man. Like, let's get a nickname going for him. And then the next on Friday night, the 7th of November, we were in freaking Canada again. Like, they've been all over it. And why did they go from Edmonton to Seattle and then back to Canada? Why can't they do all the Canada games in one instead of having them freaking traveling back to the United States and then back to Canada? Like, that's a whole lot of customs that you got to go through. I don't even know if they're capable of doing that, but yeah, so they come back 4-0 against Calgary that next Friday. Bedard again, 1 goal, 3 assists. That man, he was accounted for every single point that they had. That's just insane. And the goalie was, I don't even think the goalie wasn't even pulled at that point, because when I was watching the highlights, yeah, I don't think the goalie was even pulled. So that is even more, because then they're not just like, oh, a little easy, little tap in goals to get the point. Nah, these are actually hard fought goals that he's going for. And then Bertuzzi again had 2 goals that night. What a dog. Just absolute dog. Yeah, that was really only it from the players. Spencer Knight with another great game. He had 33 saves, no goals allowed. This guy is playing his ass off right now, giving Corey Crawford vibes. Kick save by Crawford. That's kick save by Knight. That's gonna be the new catchphrase. We need to bring back Eddie O and dang, I forgot the other guy, the other announcer we had. He was great. He actually in high school he like donated to my school, which was Pat Foley. Pat Foley is his name. If we can get Pat Foley and Eddie O back, we'll be thriving, because the color commentator that we have right now for the Blackhawks, he's a little oddball. He says some weird things and like doesn't even make sense. I don't even know how to explain him. He sounds like a human Ned Flanders in a way. Like, dude is just yapping and just sounds so like, I don't even know. Like, dude, you gotta get better, man. They gotta let Eddie O go. Now Eddie O's in Seattle. Like, who wants to be in Seattle doing hockey games? Like, no history of the team. He had the Blackhawks and they just let him go. That's why I don't even know how the Blackhawks ownership works, but they were flopping for a while since the Patrick Kane days, but now they're back on track. So I'm not gonna leave all my hate for them. They can get better and fix what they gotta fix. And then Sunday, unfortunately, I missed this one because the Bears were in the middle of playing, which we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, I didn't even know they were playing, and then my brother's like, why aren't the Blackhawks on when they're facing their biggest rivals? And I'm like, oh, they're playing right now? Nope. So I had that on like my side. Football Sundays, we have a lot of TVs going. TVs were maxed out at this point, so I had to go to my phone and watch it. But sure enough, I didn't know they were playing until my brother told me they were, and I asked what was the score. 1-0. Perfect. Guess who scored? I asked him who scored. I gave guesses. I thought it was maybe Donato, maybe Bertuzzi, but nope. I said Bedard? He's like, yup. Another goal for Bedard. This guy is a maniac. So he had 1 goal, 2 assists yesterday in the Blackhawks 5-1 victory over Detroit. Another funny thing about this game was when you're watching, you just see Patrick Kane come flying down the ice. Like, at one point, I was distracted because of the football games, and I looked at my phone for a second, and I just see someone on the Red Wings splitting through the Blackhawks defenders. I'm like, who is this? Is this McDavid got traded or something? And then I see the 88. I'm like, oh, Patrick Kane. Yup. Oh, my God. It's like he just still looks amazing. And according to the Spit and Chicklets podcast, Patrick Kane has been playing really good this year, so there's a chance that he could be on Team USA hockey again. Oh my, that would be even better, because Patrick Kane is one of the best United States-born players ever. United States players to play in the NHL. So him on the team, Mr. Captain America, with these younger guys showing them the way. Him and Austin Matthews. like passing the torch to Austin Matthews. That would be a cool moment. Even though I don't think Matthews nowhere near Patrick Kane. Let's be honest. Patrick Kane has the swagger, everything. Does not compare to Mr. Patty Kane. So that was the Blackhawks week. What a week it was for them. 3-0 since Wednesday. They're at a 7-5-3 record, I believe, which is pretty good for. I don't even think they're slated to win that many games this season. So they're fighting through expectations, playing great hockey, and I'm just excited to see the rest of the season from here. They're finally back home on Monday after being on the road for so long. They got 4 games at home, 1 on the road, and they're back home for 4 more games. So we got I like that. Get the away games out of the way easy. All the Canada games, so we don't have to go there later in the season. So we got New Jersey at Chicago, Toronto at Chicago, Calgary at Chicago, Kraken at Chicago. Then we go to Buffalo, and then we're back for the Avalanche, Minnesota Wild, Nashville Predators, and the Anaheim Ducks. And then, this is a nice little thing for them. Oh, you just had a nice homestand. You want to get back on the road? Boom, we'll reward you. How about a nice 9:00 game in Las Vegas with 2 days of 2 days. So that comes 2 days after the Ducks game. So they have time to go to Vegas, probably, enjoy the nice city, gamble, watch some shows, eat some nice food. So they got time in Vegas. That's a nice little, hopefully it doesn't distract them though, because then we got December 4th, Anaheim, back-to-back games, and then Los Angeles. So they're going to be vibing on the West Coast in the nice cold weather of December. That's a nice time to be in the West Coast, Don't got to deal with the snow that we already have on November 10th here. You can just be in your hotel room and then just go walk down the street in your shorts if you want to. What a win for them. But yeah, the Blackhawks got me buzzing. And then the Bulls also got us buzzing. I mean, they lost on Sunday or Saturday, but, you can't win every game, guys. It's not going to happen. It can't happen. But the Bulls, so they had the best lead. They had the best the best record in the league for the first 8 games of the season. But this week on Wednesday, we had oh my God. Last Tuesday, the 4th, was one of the best Bulls games since the Los Angeles Lakers game last year when Giddey made the buzzer beater. It was a 113-111 victory, and the Bulls came to play. Josh Giddey is him. First Bulls player with a triple-double in back-to-back games since Michael Jordan did it in the 90s. That guy, I was wrong about him. I wasn't the biggest fan. He got traded from the Thunder here for Alex Caruso. Didn't look like the Bulls were getting a little bit of the short end of the stick with that, because Caruso was one of the main reasons the Thunder won the championship last year, and Giddey was just, average player for us. Not really showcasing anything too crazy. The last half of the season, I mean, he picked up the pace for our offense, but besides that, nothing too crazy. But he's been a whole different player this year. I've seen him in the offseason working out with Chris Brickley, and normally when players do that, for instance, Ben Simmons, when you see him posting workout videos, it's just for people to think he's actually working out. He hasn't been in the gym at all except for that. But you could tell Josh Giddey's workout videos were actually true, because this man has opened his bag completely. He's hitting hezzies off the dribble. He's blowing by guys. He has much more confidence in his play around the rim. Sometimes he would be hesitant, kind of have a little in-between shot, but he's just going straight. He's going for the layup every time and not looking to... I mean, he's still looking to pass because he's averaging a double-double with points and assists, but he's more focused on getting his own points first this year. I feel like he has that big body where he is able to, use it like Giannis to get through the lane, which you wouldn't expect from him. Even though he's 6'6", he doesn't have the big, bulky frame like some of these other guys have, but he still is able to use his body very well to help himself and his teammates. And that's been a huge factor of why we've been playing so well. In that game, he had 29, 15, and 12, which is just I can't say if we can get that every time, because that's a stat line that you don't see very often. But if he can keep doing anything similar to that, let's say 23, 10, and 8, consistently, or we'll even go not even a double-double. We'll go 23, 8, and 7. Something like that. That's still great numbers. And he's shooting the ball from 3 efficiently and just playing great overall ball. It's fun to see. Like, he's not a splashy player that you want to be your star player, but he gets the job done, and he's everything you could ask. Paid him 4 years. We have him locked down. We can build around him. He's the easy player to build around because you know what you're getting. He's not going to add anything crazy or go off his, like, he knows his role. He plays it. He's not going to force anything. You can get shooters around him, a nice big to help take off the defensive pressure. He's going to be a good player for the Bulls. I'm happy we signed him. At first, I wasn't happy. I'm like, all right, let's just tank and restart fresh. But I think we actually have something with him. He's only 22 years old, still extremely young. Faced a lot of criticism early on in his career because of fake stories getting passed around about him, trying to smear his name and his credibility. But no, he didn't let that distract him. Some players could be, down in the dumps, letting people's opinions dictate their performance. But no, he's not like that. He's going to come back. He came back and showed that he's a player that he was supposed to be when he got drafted in the lottery a couple of years ago. And I'm happy we have him on our team, and I wouldn't want him to be anywhere else. And then, sadly, or not sadly, I mean, not like anyone died, but on Thursday, I think it was Thursday, November 7th, we faced the Bucks, and we got cooked, guys. It's just, Giannis just owns us. I remember on Easter a couple of years ago in the playoffs when all that Grayson Allen and Alex Caruso stuff was going on. Giannis just kept bulldozing people in the lane and getting his way. In this game, he had 41 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, and just was absolutely destroying us. Nothing really went well for us. I mean, Buzelis had 20 points, Giddey had 16, 14, and 7. The starters played well. The bench really didn't do anything. Kevin Huerter had 13 points off the bench. That was the lead all bench scorers, but that's not really anything to get too excited about. It feels like the last few times we faced the Bucks, it's ended like this. We play good in like the first 2 quarters, and then Giannis just starts to come into shape and just start bowling us around. And we really don't have anyone to guard him. Patrick Williams, I think that ship has sailed. I mean, he only got 23 minutes. If he's going to be the Giannis stopper, you're going to give him more minutes than that. And then who else? Who else is going to guard him? Buzelis has no chance of guarding him. Vucevic has no chance of guarding him. Okoro has no chance of guarding him. Giddey has no chance of guarding him. Tosumo, no chance of guarding him. Terry, no chance of guarding him. Julian Phillips, no chance of stopping him. No one's able to guard Giannis on the Bulls, and that's going to be a problem. Like, I mean, that is a huge problem. You need a defensive star. Patrick Williams could play okay defense, but that was supposed to be his calling card when he came in the league. Everyone was like, he's a lockdown defender, baby Kawhi. His hands help him get steals. I don't see that at all. I haven't seen any flashes of it. He looks a little more aggressive this year. Maybe someone's gotten his ass and told him, come on, dude, you're 6'10", 240. Like, let's go, dude. You got this shit. You got this. But it does not seem like that. That seems like that happened a little bit. But, I mean, if this is his peak being happy with a 12-point performance from him in a game with, like, 3 rebounds and 3 assists, that's not going to cut it, especially if we're going to try to keep building on the start to the season and make the playoffs. It's not going to happen. And I'm kind of scared that the Bulls season is going downhill because Saturday when I was at the Notre Dame game they played and they lost 128 to 122, I was only able to watch the highlights of this game, obviously, because I was not at home. But from looking at the box score, I mean, our starters did like nothing, to be honest. I mean, our bench had way better numbers. I mean, Billy Donovan, I think he gets unfair hate, but if I was watching this game, I would really like to see what the rotations he was making were, because Okoro had 33 points, or Okoro had 19 points at 33 minutes. I'll take that from him. He was disappointing to start. I'll take that. Buzelis, 4 points, 18 minutes, probably foul trouble, but he only had 4 personals, so maybe he got hurt, and I just didn't see that. Vucevic, dude, 9, 5, 4, and 29 minutes. That's awful. Get him off my team. I can't stand Vooch, man. He's just not the center you want in today's day and age. Trey Jones doing a great job, continue to play his role. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Giddey, 15, 9, and 6. And then I saw, he got crossed up. DeAndre Hunter made him look like a fool. Like, how do you get crossed up by DeAndre Hunter of all people? He has very limited bag. His bag is like non-existent. Getting crossed up by him is very depressing. I would not be able to recover from that. I hope that doesn't destroy Josh Giddey's season that he started. But he had 15, 9, and 6. Fine game. Not a fine game. I need more out of you, Josh Giddey, if you want to be that superstar and earn that $25 million. You need to play better than that consistently, like every game. Our bench played great. I mean, Jalen Smith, 19 minutes, 18 points, 11 rebounds. That's pretty damn good. Patrick Williams, 11 points in 23 minutes. Solid from Patrick Williams, but like him on the bench, he doesn't even get starts anymore. That's just so sad. Julian Phillips, 0 points in 4 minutes. Kevin Huerter is playing very well this year. 15 points in 29 minutes. And then Desumu, 14 points in 23 minutes. I mean, the bench played good, but our bench consists of four guards with one forward and a center. I mean, I'm not confident in our bench at all. Julian Phillips has done nothing for us since he was drafted. Kevin Huerter is probably just trade bait at this point because what role is he going to play down the line for us? And then Desumu, I like Desumu not just because he goes to U of I. I think he actually cares about the sport of basketball in Chicago, and he actually tries night in and night out. So Desumu can stay. Everyone else can. Yeah, this team, oh my God, they might fall apart fast. 128, 122, you gotta come back better than that. You can't lose back-to-back games if you want to be actually taken serious in this league, especially after you've been at the bottom tier for the last few games. A couple losses like this is just going to only add to people's, they aren't going to get too excited about them because because then when they start losing, then I feel like it's going to be a slippery slope and we're just going to fall down to the bottom of the league. And I want playoffs in Chicago. We've talked about that in the past episodes. I just want baseball or playoffs in Chicago for all of our sports. We got it in baseball. That was it. But 3 games, 7 games, 8 games was not enough. I want to be in the World Series again, going down to Wrigley during the games and just, drinking a brew, smelling the fresh fall leaves falling, just hearing the sounds of the bat cracking from the stadium. That's what we need back in the city, and I feel like it'll bring everyone back together. Last week, I was talking about how Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson might not be on the same page, but I think we could chill out. I think at least I could chill out a little bit because Caleb Williams might actually be the Bears' best quarterback of all time. If we're being quite honest, I think I've seen enough. Throw out the tape. Throw out everything. We have our future, ladies and gentlemen. That's back-to-back weeks where Caleb Williams is the sole reason we won the game. It's back-to-back weeks where Caleb Williams was the sole reason why we won the game. He just got ice in his veins. Like, when he first got drafted, he did the same thing Justin Fields said and was like, "Oh, I don't feel pressure." You're gonna feel pressure in the NFL. Don't be scared to admit it, guys. Come on, like you're playing against the best athletes in the world. You're literally getting paid based off how you play. So I'm not really a big fan when players downplay that, but it seems like Caleb actually is feeling that because when those moments come around, he's led us to four victory drives this season. I mean, what more can you want from the guy? Last week we won 24-20. Sorry, guys. I just didn't have the stats pulled up. But 24-20. We were down 10. We were down 20-10 with 3 minutes left in the game, everybody. The Giants had a chance to pretty much end the game. They're at the 1-yard line. It was 4th and goal. They could have ran the ball. But no, they decided to stick with a field goal. Even after getting a penalty that gave them a chance to move up a little bit, half an inch closer, like to the half-inch line. They still denied that, and then they tried to They kicked the field goal, so then they only went up by 10. I mean, that's just stupid. You go for the touchdown there every time because the worst thing that could happen is the Bears backed up at the goal line, having to go 99 yards for the win or like 60 yards to tie. I mean, I don't know what was going through Brian Dable's mind, which is probably the reason why literally as I was sitting down to record today, he started he got fired. Brian Dable got fired literally as I sat down today, which is so funny. I got the notification. Brian Dable was out as Giants head coach. So him being an idiot definitely helped us there. But then Caleb Williams, the touchdown drive to Rome, or when he helped get Rome down the field, then that was the one that tied. That was the one to go down by 3. And then the next drive was the one where he really used his legs, which he hasn't been doing a lot the last weeks. But finally, he's finally seen he's an athletic guy and can actually run. So he ran for the first down, got it for us. And then next thing you know, he's zooming on around the corner, gets past the edge, and runs it in for another touchdown. I mean, the Giants had like 40 seconds left about. But Russell Wilson was in because Jackson Dart got hurt, and I did not. I know Russell Wilson was not going to do anything. I mean, that's just sad to say. Russell Wilson used to be my favorite quarterback. And then when he went to Denver, he just ruined it for himself. I mean, Russell Wilson, I had no fear when he came into the game at all. I knew we were going to get the win. And sure enough, terrible, what was it, a 4 and out for them on their final drive. Like, not even coming close to threatening. At least normally it's used to in the Bears games, the teams get to like the 40 and then you have to pray for a Hail Mary not to be successful. But the Bears won, guys. Let's go. And we're 6-3 on the year. And I just want them to show the graphic. Like, there haven't been any in the hunt graphics yet. Like, I want to see the Bears in the playoff picture so I could just be like, oh, it's wonderful. Even if we don't make it, at least we'll have that. We can fall back on that for the season. We can get like a banner that says Week 13 in the hunt graphic champions, or in the hunt. To be honest, is sufficient enough just to show people, we in here, yeah. But that was another good game for the Bears, and let's keep pounding against the Vikings next week against JJ McCarthy. I mean, we need revenge for what they did to us in Week 1 because we should have won that game, and we'd be sitting at 7-2 right now. Like, are you kidding me? I would take that any day of the week. If someone told me at the beginning of the season that we'd be 6-3, I would be very hesitant to believe that because our team is far from perfect. But I think Caleb and Ben Johnson just have this team going in a different direction than Matt Eberflus's of the world and the Matt Nagy's of the world had us going. So I'm just happy to watch the Bears every week, every Saturday, every Sunday. When Sunday at 3 o'clock comes around and like the second batch of windows are ending, I have to move my TV back to my room after sitting in the front room watching both TVs all day. It's honestly depressing, and I'm just like, I need this week to go by so that I could be back on here on Sunday doing the same thing, which is my daily routine. On Sundays, waking up at 10 o'clock, going to take a shower, gonna walk my dog, go get my coffees for me and my mom and whoever else in my family wants one, and then I head back home. Either do homework or play some Xbox before the football games come out, and then I'm on that couch for the rest of the day, to be honest, until like 10:30 because that's when the Sunday night football game ends. So yeah, I love the Bears. I love football, but the only thing I don't love about football is, can we talk about some of these primetime games lately? I remember everyone was talking about how the NFL is rigged. Obviously, that wasn't true, but it was a storyline going around a couple years ago. And I think people need to bring back the script writers, because if we had that, then everything would go much smoothly in NFL. Because if you look at the last primetime games going back to the 23rd of October, that Thursday night game, we had the Chargers versus the Vikings. The Vikings without a quarterback, keep in mind. J.J. McCarthy's hurt, so they were going with Carson Wentz. 37-10 final for the Chargers. Then we go to Monday 10/27, October 27th. Chiefs versus the Commanders. No Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, and the Chiefs absolutely waxed them 28-7. And then in the in the game, in the Vikings-Charger game, that was when Carson Wentz just was going out sad. I mean, who wants Carson Wentz as their quarterback? Dude is 40 years old, ACL injuries, just Dude's obsessed with hunting. He went 15 to 27 for 144 yards with an average of 5.3 yards per completion. And as we know, he came out of that game early. He's out for the season. He should just retire. I don't know what would bring him back to playing. He's got enough money, I think, at least. I don't know. Yeah, he needs to just wrap it up and go into a retirement home with all the other old guys in the NFL that are just sticking around. So, yeah, and then Jefferson had 7 receptions for 74 yards with a long of 17 with 11 targets. Just Justin Jefferson, free him. Come to the Bears, buddy. Jordan Addison, 3 receptions on 4 targets for 26 yards. Terrible. Hawkinson used to be one of the best tight ends in the league with Kirk Cousins, but with the new quarterbacks that have been there, he just hasn't been able to find his stride again. He only went for 2 receptions for 26 yards, which is not good for one of the top-tier tight ends in the NFL. And then we had the other game I mentioned, the Chargers or the Chargers game. That game, another terrible primetime game was the October 27th one with the Chiefs and the Commanders, where the Chiefs won 28-7. Mariota was the quarterback for that game, going 21 of 30 for 213 yards with an average of 7.1. He was also their leading rusher with 8 rushes for 28 yards with a long of 8. Bill Crosby Merritt, 9 attempts for 25 yards. This team is just bottom 2 teams to watch in the NFL right now for me. Each year people have that in their mind. They don't do anything for me. And on the other side, you have that stat line for Patrick Mahomes, who went 25 of 34, 299 yards with an average of 9 yards per pass completion. And then balanced running game with Pacheco going for 58 yards, Kareem Hunt going for 40 yards, both averaging over 4.4 yards per carry. And then Mahomes even adding in on the fun with 4 receptions for 4 attempts for 30 yards. And this was a game that had Rashee Rice back, and all their playmakers are starting to come back into form. Rashee Rice had 9 receptions for 93 yards with a touchdown, and he also had 2 rushes for 12 yards, he's just a complete player. I didn't realize how good Rashee Rice was. He's just huge. He could be lined up in the backfield as a wing in the slot on the edge. He could just play everywhere. And then when you have Kelsey going for 6 for 99 with a touchdown, and Xavier Worthy going for 5 for 53, and then even Juju coming in for 2 for 29, and then Noah Gray 2 for 23. Those are just well put together team, and the Chiefs continue to show that's who they are. They're not going to bend, they're not going to break. They're just going to continue to what they do all season, block out the haters, and just play their brand of football. And continuing on the bad primetime games, on October 30th, it was we had the Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. Ravens smoked them 28-6. The Dolphins are just a depressing team. They fired their GM, and then they said they're going to keep their coach for the rest of the season. They're going to keep Tua starting. Tua's just brain dead at this point, but they're going to keep Tua starting, and that's sure enough what they did. And they got waxed 28-6. This was a game that ultimately got Chris Grier, the GM, fired, but I just still don't believe how they can stick with Mike McDaniels after these performances. They did one yesterday, and then the whole locker room. They won against the Bills yesterday, and their whole locker room was going up in flames. They had people in garbage cans, like, driving them like boats. People dancing, doing the music in the background. Maybe Mike McDaniels didn't lose a locker room, and then Chris Grier was just the ultimate freaking interference guy, just coming in trying to mingle with the team when no one wanted to talk to him. But on the other end of that, you had Lamar coming back from injury, who went 18 of 23 for 204 yards, and then Derrick Henry. People are saying Derrick Henry was washed. This man just continues to shut them up, going 19 for a 119. Like, you can't compete with that. When you have Lamar in the backfield with Derrick Henry, it's not gonna be a good sight. And I don't care if I do care. Their team probably cares that he cost them the game against, I forgot who they were playing, but he did fumble 2 weeks back to back, which ultimately cost them those games. But I would rather have Derrick Henry than pretty much anybody else in the league, to be honest, besides like Jonathan Taylor right now and like Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, some more players, but Derrick Henry is a future Hall of Famer. I'll take him over like a Rico Dowdle. I mean, that's even close, but Derrick Henry would probably still get the edge over him for me just because of who he is, his name, and what he can do at the goal line, or when he does break open in field, no one's going to bring him down. We saw it yesterday where he just gives them meanest stiff arms and makes it look like he didn't even try. Yeah, and then Tua went 25 of 40 in that game for 261 yards, which is just cool, dude. You passed it 40 times. Congratulations for getting those numbers. And then A-Chain, I know his name. I just like calling him Akane. I don't know. It just seems cooler. He had 14 attempts for 67 yards. Free him too. I can't believe he wasn't traded at the trade deadline. So many teams would have loved to have him. He can catch, he can run. He's one of the fastest guys in the league. I would certainly take him on the Bears. And then another primetime game, which was week 9, we had another Jaden Daniels Commanders team on primetime going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Another waxing for the Commanders. It was 38-14 by the Seahawks. And then November 3rd, we had the Arizona versus the Cowboys. And if you remember that's when Javonte Williams fumbled at the end of the game. This one wasn't that bad of a game, but I mean, no one wants to watch Jacoby Brissett start for the rest of the season for the Cardinals. But this was a game when Javonte Williams fumbled, and then everyone in the Cardinals started yelling, Javonte's so ass, Javonte's so ass. I wonder if he saw that clip, and I wonder if he's like tracking down who said that to him and try to like talk with them and beat him up. Because you can't let that slide, dude. You're getting clowned on national television by the whole defense just going in on you. Like, what did Javonte do? What did he do to them? They must really hate his ass. Like, god dang. And then that game was just, yeah. Rest in peace to Nashawn Nealon too, from the Cowboys. That was all I was gonna say. And then to end off our terrible freaking our terrible primetime games. On Thursday night, we had the Vegas Raiders versus, who do they face on Thursday? Raiders versus Broncos. First of all, I have Courtland Sutton on my fantasy football team. He did like nothing that game. I think he got me like 2 points, literally 1 reception. So that game was terrible. I forgot the final score, 10-7. Yeah, I think it was 10-7 final, and it was just yeah. If you just listen to that and went, what, 10-7? Yeah, that's how bad it was. The other team couldn't even get the field goal range to try to win the game. I mean, what are we doing here? Like, come on, guys, bring the script writing back. And then last night, the game was terrible. It was 3-2 until like 3 minutes left before half, and then the Chargers put together some drives and then just completely squeeze the Steelers to death. And the Steelers season might be over, and I don't know how Mike Tomlin is still employed by them. I mean, he hasn't had a losing season in, I don't even think, ever. But if my coach kept going 9-8, sometimes making the playoffs, sometimes not, I would be pissed off. Like, I'm happy with Ben Johnson. He flipped our culture around. We see where we're going. I don't think we're gonna be 9-8 every season for the rest of the time he's with us. I just can't see that happening. Like, it's almost like Mike Tomlin wants to end on that every single time. So there's just a lot of bad football going on in prime time. That's probably just because, especially Thursday night games, you're playing 4 days after you just exhausted your body in a Sunday game. So Thursday games are acceptable, but Sunday and Monday night, those games have just been terrible. And like, I'm still gonna watch football because it's football, but it's harder to stay awake sometimes. Sometimes I had a long day and I'm trying to stay awake and it was off, but I just want to watch the football. But the product needs to get better, and that's the end of the story. Okay, I hope everyone enjoyed. This was like a nice little ramble session for me, breaking down, the Notre Dame game, which I had a great time going to. We have the Blackhawks. I mean, I'm all in on the Blackhawks now. I might become their biggest fan for the next year. We got the Bears continuing to win games for us and making us a playoff contender. We have the Bulls. The Bulls are being a fun team as well. As all we ask about in Chicago is just we want things we could watch all year round for sports. I mean, imagine if the Bears were terrible to start and that 0-2 start continued to downfall, then we would just be in constant distress and like wishing for the summer to come, so then we would have baseball or something like that. But now we could actually hold on to the Bears and be happy with the product that we're seeing from them. And that can get us until, Super Bowl. If we don't make the Super Bowl, fine. But then you have basketball. And if the Bulls are good, you can watch their stretch run to the playoffs and then into the playoffs into the summer, and then next thing you know, we'll be right back at football season watching the sport that we love so very much. Yeah, everyone, just hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. Continue to follow me on Instagram at Around the Leagues Pod. Once again, Around the Leagues Pod. I know there's confusion with the name of it, but Around the Leagues Pod, because Around the Leagues with Brady B was just way too long. So Around the Leagues Pod on Instagram. I'm working on like getting better at like the Canva stuff, so I can do better graphics for before I post the shows. So just stay on the lookout for that. If they're not the best graphics, don't judge. They'll get better over time. Trust me. But yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this ramble session about all the sports stuff that have taken place this past week. Go Bulls, go Bears, go Blackhawks, go Cubs. This is Brady B signing out. See you next week.